who better to speak on this topic than a director himself? And we are extremely delighted and honored to have Sir Shashank S. Singh to grace this platform here today. And we're looking forward to an interesting and interactive session. So a very warm welcome to you, sir. And without further ado, I would like to proceed with the program by giving this time to Ma'am Inakali Asumi, who is our HOD of English Department, to introduce the speaker. Ma'am Inakali?
Yes, I hope I'm audible. Hello, everyone.
Yes, yes.
Good afternoon. The Department of English, St. John College, have been looking forward eagerly for this moment. And finally, now that we are here, I hope and believe that it will be a fruitful one. As the moderator has mentioned, the main objective of this event is to give a wider exposure to our students in the field of cinema studies. The aim of our department this semester is to enable the students to learn beyond the text, beyond what is there in the syllabus, and this this talk rightly fulfills that very objective. So, without further delay, let me introduce our speaker, uh, Mr. Shashank Singh. He is a Bollywood filmmaker, director, and writer. He has recently released his short film Dubara Alvida, which he has written and directed as well. The film features Swara Bhaskar and Gulshan Devia, and also it is his first work as an independent filmmaker. Um, Little bit about his personal life. He was born and brought up in Kolkata, and after graduating from Delhi University, he started working as an assistant director in films and TVCs in Mumbai. Shashank S. Singh has been a part of Hindi film industry for around 10 years, and in these 10 years, he has um, worked closely with renowned film production houses like Yash Raj Films, UTV Motion Pictures, Amir Khan Production, Disney, and Red Eyes. He has also worked with brands like Alto K10, Mahindra Xylo, Sun Direct, Sensodyne, Brook Bond, Clinic Plus, Dove, etc. Some of his filmographies are Raja Natwarlal 2014, Dilly Belly 2011, Zokomon 2011, Tere Bin Ladin 2010, Dil Bole Harippa 2009. We are immensely pleased and honored to have you here in our midst today. And despite your busy schedule, thank you so much for agreeing to for giving us your valuable time and for willing to have an interaction with our students. We have been keeping in touch constantly, and we have been talking about how we would want the webinar to be. And I was also very happy to know that he's very excited to interact with our students. The students are eagerly excited. So without further delay, I give the time to the speaker. You may take your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I hope I am audible enough to everyone.
Yes, yes, you're audible.
Yeah. So, thank you very much for this invitation to have interactive session with all the students. I'll say that I would want to have an interactive session, other than just giving a lecture of some sorts, on this very interesting topic which you guys have chosen, which is contemporary cinema and portrayal of youth. So, so thank you very much, all of you, for having me here. And so, so basically, what I'm trying to do, with this session with you guys is not to give any sort of lecture. Just have a just have a one-on-one talk with everyone so that we can interact, we can share our views, we can have questions, rather than having it at the end, we can like I would want all the students to get inclusive, and include themselves in this discussion, or sharing of views of shorts. But before that, let's just get into some sort of the rich history which the Indian cinema has. I'm sure that every one of you is a Bollywood fan, a Hindi film fan, because a lot of there's like the Hindi films reach within the country is really huge, and it has a very rich history in that sense. And I'll say that Indian cinematic history is far older than our independent India. So in the 70 years, if I'm not audible enough, so you can tell me, like you can raise your hand and I'll see you. I can see you on screen, Temzula. So yeah, if I'm not audible enough, you can raise your hand so that
Yes, sir,
Uh,
sure.
great. So yeah, so let's just get into the history, for a bit, and I'll say that it's really far older than independent India, the the cinematic history of our country. And in the 70 years of independence, Indian films have traversed their own journey, from individually funded high risk ventures to a systematic industry, with an audience, across the world, I'll say. And you guys will be amazed to know that nearly 2000 films are made in around 20 different languages every year, in our own country. And this is huge. And that is why our country is one of the world's largest film producing nation in that sense. And if we go back to the first film which was made, that's called Alamara, and after that, a lot of very path-breaking films were made. I would not want to go into the details of which film, what film, when, but I would just want to pinpoint certain certain films because they are very important in the history of Indian cinema, I'll say. And films like Alamara, there was a film called Mahal, which was made, and then there was this film called Avara. You guys must be knowing Raj Kapoor, the first showman of India. He had made a film called Avara, and why I'm picking this film up is also because one, this film is one of his finest, films, and the portrayal of the youth, which we are going to talk about in Indian cinema, was nicely done in that film. And also, just a historic point, which is very interesting, that Avara was India's, one of the biggest hits of that time, and this film was also considered, it still date, it is considered as Indian cinema's biggest export. Like it was a big hit in China, Russia, and Turkey. So a lot of people, not only in India, like outside the country, also they just loved this film. And you can, if you take this film, if you watch this film, the kind of portrayal which was done as far as the youth of those times were concerned, it was really awesome, you know and just the aspirations, the thoughts, the dreams, the struggles, the youth would go through, in those times, so had started with the onset of you know making films like Avara. Before that also, but there was a time when a lot of mythological films would get made, and a lot of fictional films in with mythological characters would get made. And why I'm taking these films, especially Avara, and after that I'll say that so Avara was like one of the biggest hits, and the portrayal of youth in that time done in this film was really awesome. And after that, in the 50s only, I'll say that a film called Do Bhiga Zameen came, you know, and this was Bimal Roy's socialist drama, you know, and it's also called a early flag bearer, kind of a film, starting a parallel cinema movement, in the country. And this is also unforgettable film because it really initiated the neo-realist trend that countered mainstream commercial movies. Now why I'm saying this, because film like Do Biga Zameen, which really spoke about the struggle of the youth at that point of time. It was a story beautifully made by Bimal Roy. I think you guys should just watch this film, and this is a classic, one 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 of the classics, made in Hindi film industry. And at that point of time, the portrayal of youth was very much part of the Hindi films that were getting made, other than the genres like like supernatural thriller, or you would say a mythological film, in that sense. And people like Raj Kapoor, Bimal Roy, K. Abbas, who was a renowned you know script writer, and who has written a lot of path-breaking films for Guru Dutt, for Raj Kapoor. He was a screenwriter, and these guys would give audiences of those times, after independence. I'm talking about 50s, late 40s and 50s, and a little bit of 60s also. So how and what they give their audience at that point of time, was the fact that they championed the underdog, identified the common man of those times, you know with Indian values, and just juxtaposed it with have nots and haves in simplistic equation of good against evil, and when you go into the 60s and 70s, films turned formulaic. There was like a lot of formula films getting made. Boy meets girl, they fall in love, their love faces obstacles, that they overcome, and then their love triumphs and all that. And so yeah, so together with romance, in 60s and 70s, Hindi films also was about the angry young man, who faced discrimination, lacked job opportunities, and was a victim of both official corruption and also underworld, gangsterism. And obviously, Mr. Amitabh Bachchan epitomized, those roles, playing the sometimes violent but always upright hero of 70s. And later on, then we got into the 80s and 90s, where uh, the films were getting made would depict, the kind of youth, we had at that point of time in our country. Because I feel, though this might sound a very cliche line, but cinema has always been considered, by the cinema lovers, by the students, by the society people who are like, very much interested in watching cinema, as the mirror image of any society, you know. And after getting independence, in the late 40s, I'll say that the way our country has made progress, a youth, of any country is very much essential as far as building of the nation is concerned. Correct. So youth of our time is considered very very relevant, because obviously we are into a process of making nation, for our children, for people to come. And likewise, I'll say that after the independence, uh, the kind of struggles which youth had to go, the kind of dreams they would see to in their quest, to build a nation, would be portrayed through cinema. Because That's why I said that, it's a mirror image, it's a mirror of any society, which is, and look at the way the youth was portrayed in those times. Look at the way the romance would happen, between the characters, between the male and the female, lead characters. Look at the way they would dress up. Look at the way they would talk. Look at the way they would behave. Look at their behavioral patterns, based on the kind of emotions they would go through in those times. Times change, people change, society change, country change, cultural values and cultural aspects, and social political things keep changing. And likewise, cinema also changes, you know based on all these things, because we filmmakers derive our inspiration and derive our stories, by observing our surroundings. So why I am saying this? Because this is very important, for all of you, the students. Because if anyone is aspiring to be a filmmaker, if anyone is aspiring to be in the field of script writing or screenplay writing, just read as much as you can. I'm talking about literature because you guys are literature students. But also along with that, just try and observe things, just try and observe what is happening in your surrounding. you know just make observation your first tool in trying to understand, the human nature, the human behavioral patterns, what is happening in the society. Just be aware of everything which is happening around you, be it social, be it political, be it traditional, be it cultural, whatever it is. So this becomes very important, in the whole process of trying to make something, or trying to create something. So, and also the fact that, realistic cinema, which is getting made these days a lot more than it would be, before, for various reasons, because the dreams of the youth has changed, their aspirations has changed. A lot of things, have changed. The country has changed a lot, and depending on that, I'll say that, because these days, one can say a lot more realistic cinema is getting made, and web series also. You guys must be on, various OTT platforms to watch, a lot of web series and all that. And I would say that, there are like there are couple of web series which I don't know if you guys have seen or not, but you should just go and see, only to understand that how things have been portrayed, from a youth perspective. When I say youth perspective, it means, from the perspective of their struggle, from the perspective of their dreams, from the perspective of, what they want to achieve in their life, from the perspective of the confusion, the youth has. Confusion is not a bad thing at all, because obviously it helps you in clearing, stuff which you don't want in your life. you know and confusion is also good, because you can have a lot of options. Generally you have a lot of options in your mind. And confusion, I'm only talking about professional confusion, not personal confusion. That's a very different thing, so don't misunderstand me. So yeah, so if you are having different career option choices and you are confused what should you do, which career option you should take, so there are a lot of things happening in today's times. And they're like very very beautifully, there's this film called Dolly, Kitty and Chamakte Sitare, where, and it's a story of two women, played by Konkana Sen and Bhumi Pednekar. And these two characters are, a direct reflection of, today's woman. One is married, one is not married, one has come from a small town trying to work in a metro city. The other one is married but she's not happy in her life, so her personal struggle, and other one's professional and personal struggle, which is such a beautiful depiction of today's youth, has been portrayed so well in this film. And other than that, there's also a series called Chantara, which is based in Jharkhand. And Jamtara is also on one of the OTT platforms, and you should go and watch, because that is also a portrayal of youth in today's time. Because there was this very interesting story of 4 or 5 people from a village in Jharkhand. Uh, they what they do is basically they cheat people. They would call people, so it was a gang, and they would earn a lot of money through that. And so they were doing, and it's a real life story. It's a real story, you know. And they would call people through mobile phones asking for their card numbers, their debit card numbers. And they had some technical there was some technical glitch in all this, which they had cracked. And through that only they would cheat people and earn a lot of money. So this was also a portrayal of youth, in contemporary times. So what I'm trying to say is that um, film, in whatever era, like whatever era you want to choose, just if you want to understand the youth of that time, just pick that era, pick some classics or some really realistic films, and just watch it. You would know that how your grandfathers would behave with your grandmothers in their young age. I don't know, like obviously they won't be able to tell you the whole story of their history, and their life, and their romance, or their struggles, or their fashion sense, or their eating habits, their behavioral patterns. These small little things would feature in the masala movies as well, because obviously masala is like a little bit over dramatic or overdone things, in our in our real lives, right? So people would get inspired from the youth of their surrounding, and would make stories uh, based on that only. So and also I'll say that like contemporary cinema of any time is and will always be defined by the portrayal of youth in it. Understand this. This is a very basic thing. Contemporary cinema can't be defined without the portrayal of youth in it. Okay, because cinema is made by taking stories from our own surroundings, you know and yeah. So basically all the stories revolves around youth, stories about their aspirations, stories of their struggles, which I've already spoken about, stories of their victories also, stories of their social and political struggles. All the political films, all the socially relevant films depict the struggle of the youth, you know and obviously they portray their struggles and all that, and also about their cultural and traditional bendings. So without the portrayal of youth, contemporary cinema can't exist, is what I feel, and is what I think. I mean, like, we can make mythological or historical or period films, but contemporary cinema does not include these genres. Try and understand, because historical film might have some. It depends, like, what kind of historical film is getting made. Is it a war film? Is it a period film, socially relevant drama, or whatever it is? So it can have a glimpses of youth of those times, but then uh, also the fact that when we are talking about contemporary cinema, we are talking about certain genres, and these genres are mostly romance, drama, comedy also, because when I'm using this genre, comedy, just understand how how comedy has changed throughout these years. When you would watch comedy of Kishore Kumar's films, like Chalti Ka Naam Gadi. It was a beautiful film, and it was a black and white film, and Kishore Kumar and Ashok Kumar were there. So the comedy was different at that point of time. And after that, as we progressed, as we kept on crossing decades, like 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and now 2000. Just look at the level of comedy which is happening these days. It's all these comedy things, all these comic timings, and words and one liners being taken from our surrounding only, because people have changed, and so is the portrayal of youth, which has changed over a period of time. So yeah, so just understand this, that without without the portrayal of youth, contemporary cinema just can't exist. And uh, and also got to do with the thing that yeah, yeah. So sorry. So also got to do with the thing that okay, sorry. So yeah, so what I'm saying is that uh, when a filmmaker, picks up a topic or picks up a story, and he thinks that how he can reach maximum number of audience. If I talk about myself as a filmmaker, I'll say that, based on my experience of these many years which I have worked closely with directors and production houses and creative people, I have understood a lot of things, as far as filmmaking is concerned. But more than that, when you are trying to create something, you need to understand that these days, obviously, we are making a lot more of realistic films, you know, in these contemporary times, is what I'm saying. We are making a lot more of realistic films where we are trying to connect with the audience. So how do you connect with the audience? Is the first question which comes into your mind. So you will beautifully connect with the audience when you will give them a story which they can relate with. Now, if I'm making a contemporary film, I can't make a scene, or I can't write dialogues which these contemporary people, like the youth of today, won't relate to. So basically, I am losing out on my audience if I am not achieving that. Correct. So it becomes very important to connect with the youth of today's times. And how do you do that? You have to make relatable films. You have to make films for themselves. You have to make films about them. Okay. Trying to talk about their struggles, trying to talk about their victories, trying to talk about their goals in life and their dreams and everything. So, talking about my film, I'll just take some time out to give the example also, because I got to know that a lot of you have watched my film called Dobara Alvida, and actually, the topic is so close to what the film talks about. It's a contemporary cinema, and it is all about portrayal of youth of today's time. Okay. So I'll say that this is very important in the whole uh, process of trying to connect with your audience. That when you are going to make a film, uh, you have to keep things, those details, those small little things which people can connect to. So when I thought about making this film, the only thing I had in my mind, obviously, because I was, also dealing with this genre called romance, which is everyone's favorite, I guess, because in today's times, the the texture of a relationship and how people handle their relationship has changed a lot. Earlier, people have started, since a long time, the concept of live-in relationship, has been very much prevalent, in today's times, right? In earlier times, the films would be made based on family values. There would be huge, I'll say not huge, but large families, you know where like you can say that the concept of live-in relationship or the concept of romance was very different from what it is today. Okay. And that's why I said, if you want to understand what is happening and what happened with the youth of those times, just pick up films from those times, and you will have glimpses of that, and you would understand that where it is all coming from. So talking about today's time, the only thing in my mind was to connect with you people as in the audience, everyone, whoever is going to watch this film. And in that process, I just concentrated and I just related, concentrated in the way when I observed things, when I observed my friends, my friends, people whom I know, people whom I doesn't know, by reading about their struggles, by knowing about them. I just understood that this is how today's youth behaves, this is how they react, this is how they respond, this is what their aspirations are, this is what their struggles are, in a relationship. So I wanted to be as close to those things as I could have. And so I just did that, because obviously I wanted to connect to all of you. And so it becomes very important when you are making contemporary cinema. And I'm again repeating it, because when you set out, when you go out to make contemporary cinema, you just can't connect with the audience if you are not showing their life in any way, to them, through your films. So yeah, so this is what uh, you know uh, this whole thing is all about. Because there were also and I was really happy that today's youth really connected with this film. They loved the film. I have also got a lot of reviews from you guys through Inakali, talking about what they and how they felt after watching this film. So somewhere down the line, you guys must have thought that it might be my story, it must have happened with me, and it is like must have happened with most of you guys. So that's how you connect to a story, that's how you relate to a story, and that's how and that is what the one of the basic formula of successful cinema is, you know um, and a formula of successful cinema. I am only talking about contemporary cinema, realistic films. There are a lot of other genres also. There are a lot of other kind of cinemas. So I'm not going to go in those kind of cinemas, because that will be like deviating from our topic. But yeah, so just think about it, and just like I just wanted to have a interactive session as well. And I just wanted to hear you guys, without trying to give lecture for hours. That would be like, I just wanted to point certain areas, certain things, which is very important, which becomes very important. So you guys, because you guys are student of literature, right? You guys must have read a lot of books. Like, I'm not a student of literature, I'm a student of science, but I am always interested in history. And all the more I thought that you guys should, you all of you can go to Google and Google about the history of Indian cinema. You will get a lot of articles. But I would say that I wanted to tell you certain things which I felt, is what my understanding is about the contemporary cinema and the portrayal of youth in it. You know, so this is just an observation from my side, that if you want to understand the youth, go and pick cinema and just watch it. I'm not saying that the real picture will be will be shown, but you will have glimpses. You will have glimpses of your own life. You will have glimpses of your friends' lives. You will have glimpses of stories of youth, maybe from Jharkhand, from Bihar, from South, from Northeast, from all parts of our country. And I am only talking about Indian cinema because when we talk about contemporary cinema and the portrayal of youth, you know we as a country, when we are making cinema, obviously we'll be portraying our own people. And our country is very vast, right? Our country has different religions, different cultural different cultures, different traditions, different languages. So imagine, 2000 films getting made in a year is a really huge thing in that sense. So it's a very vast topic. It's very it will be like not doing justice, with the whole vastness of Indian cinema, by talking about it in an hour's time or something like that. So I would say that I would ask you guys to share your views, share your opinions, share your thoughts, and questions also if you guys have, because now that we have spoken about it, we are talking about cinema, so we can go to any topic, and just talk about it, because obviously, it's also the fact that Indian cinema has impacted the youth, you know uh, youth uh, of today's times, like how uh, like it's also a two-way highway, I'll say, because one is that Indian cinema takes a lot of inspiration from the surroundings, from what is happening around. Also, people takes a lot of inspiration from Indian cinema, mostly mostly the fashion, and the and a lot of other things in that sense, like how a character is being played, those one liners, those dialogues, which are very famous. People use it, amongst themselves, like बड़े बड़े शहरों में छोटी छोटी बातें होती रहती हैं। ये बहुत ही एक फेमस डायलॉग था। एंड बहुत सारे लोग रोमांटिक रिलेशनशिप में ये यूज करते हैं, अपने दोस्तों में भी यूज कर लेते हैं। सो व्हाट आई एम सेइंग इज द इम्पैक्ट इज both ways. And yeah, so there are a lot of characters, there are a lot of lines, there are a lot of songs which we relate to, we would want to relate to, with them. And so yeah, so it's a very beautiful thing. uh, when I'm saying beautiful, I mean, the cinema and its impact on the society, on the people, on the youth, and also the kind of impact cinema has, from uh, uh, from its surrounding, people who are making it, from taking examples and inspiration from youth and all that. So so yeah, so I'm like kind of asking you guys to ask whatever you feel, let's talk about it. uh, you know like me only talking about and giving lecture, like I think I have whatever I wanted to convey, I have done that in whatever time we have. But yeah, so let's talk about it, what you guys feel, what you guys think. I've also got a lot of questions, written questions, so I would want to take some of them. But let's just talk about it. Anyone want to ask something, a question, or share something? You can share also, whatever your thoughts or ideas are. So yeah, please come and let's talk about it. So
Students, anyone would like to interact, and if you have any questions. Sir, when you
Uh,
okay, Tiarilla, all right, we have a student here.
yeah,
Hello, sir.
hello.
Uh,
You guys can call me Shashank. Like I'm like, you know, like sir is like little. Yeah, so you guys can call me Shashank. Just feel free to call me Shashank. And like why I'm saying this, because I'm not a professor, I'm not a teacher. I'm just a filmmaker. I'm just sharing my thoughts, and I'm just sharing my experience. In that sense, my observation basically. So consider me as one. Amongst you. So yeah. So yeah, please go on, Tayan Lena.
Okay, so my name is Taryn from the Department of English at St. John College.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to know it is not very often that we get to see people from Northeast in the Bollywood industry, be it movies or web series or TV serials. So it is quite rare. So I wanted to know how often do you receive people from the Northeast who show interest to work in the Bollywood industry?
Okay, very very pertinent question. I'll say. I would say that see, there were a lot of act like people who are from. There are actually a lot of people from Northeast who are currently working in film industry. There are a couple of my friends. One is an actor, who is working, who stays like after three, four buildings only in Bombay next to me. So there are people, but yeah, you are right that a lot of people are not coming from Northeast, or maybe the influx of people coming from Northeast to work in the industry is very less, compared to the other states or other parts of our country. Um, like Danny Dengzoppa is one of the most renowned, actor, and he is from Northeast, and he had come a long time back, right? So he's a legend, in that sense, and he's very inspirational in that sense. The whole India, is inspired by his acting talent, by his dedication, by the kind of effort he puts into, and he has done some mind blowing work. He has done some very commercial cinema, very like parallel cinema also, a couple of them, and he's very nice, he's very good, and I am his fan basically. So what we need to do is obviously see, film industry is such a receptive industry as far as people are concerned. You know, uh, if you are from Northeast, if you're from North, if you're from South, if you're from East or West, because I'll say that there are a lot of states, now that people have started coming in. Earlier times, states like I'll say. States like Bihar, people would not come to work in a film industry as often as people from Bengal or people from UP or people from MP or Rajasthan or Delhi in that sense. So things. That's what I'm saying. Depending on a lot of factors, depending on a lot of things, uh, you know. Uh, now a lot of states and a lot of people are joining in, and they are coming with a lot of aspirations to work in the industry, and also with OTT platforms coming in and the digital filmmaking revolution, I'll say, with this digital thing coming in, filmmaking, as far as the camera and all those things are considered, is not that is not that cheap, but it's also not that uh, you know in that sense, budget wise, it's also not that high these days. So one can make film on their mobile phones, and people are making films on their mobile phones sitting in their home. So it is so that this digital revolution has given them the tool, to try out things. And honestly saying, we need to encourage people, we need to reach out to them, in the whole process of trying to include each and everyone. But then see, it's a career choice, it's a career option. So filmmaking is about choosing a certain kind of career. So if people are interested, if there are facilities, if there are things, then obviously people will be coming in. But it's not that film industry has discriminated people based on the the part of India they are coming from. It has never happened like that. Filmmaking is like film industry, Hindi film industry, I can bet on this, is one of the most secular industry in this country, where anyone can go and anyone can work. It gives you you know everything, whatever you want, whatever you deserve. You have to like work very hard towards it. So, and that's what I'm saying. There are a lot of people, there are a lot of friends, in this industry who are from Northeast, and they are such brilliant and bright, colleagues, I would say. Like they're working in camera department, they're working in script writing. There are a lot of actors also, who are here and who are like trying their luck with acting and all that. And I'll say that, with the kind of realistic cinema which is getting made these days, a lot of things are happening. So things are happening in terms of stories, in terms of scripts. All sort of stories and scripts are getting made. So there is chance for everyone to come and work, in this kind of a setup which is happening in these days, which is very encouraging, which is very, very, very promising in that sense. So yeah, Tayar Delna, I'll say that, please come and work in this industry if you feel like. And you will be amazed to know that how people are receptive, and how people, will be helping you out, in trying to make a mark in this creative field. So yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much for the answer.
Thank you. So anyone else want to ask or share something?
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Am I
Hi.
audible?
Yeah, very much. Hi. Hello.
My name is Chantara, and I'm from the Department of English of St. John College. Actually, I wanted to know, like, it's kind of like a personal question, but I wanted to know, like, what were the roadblocks that you have faced while in the industry, as we all know, cinema is a very competitive market. So I wanted to know, like, uh, what were the roadblocks that you have faced.
Okay, your voice is cracking. If
Sir,
Temenzula, if you have heard.
sir, I meant, what are the roadblocks that you have faced, in this competitive industry since you're working there? So, just wanted to know.
Oh yeah, so basically there are a lot of roadblocks, Ritsala, and but one has to find a way to work through, the obstacles, and want reach a point where what they wanted to do in their life. So to start off with, see, like, I just wanted to assist people, and I just wanted to work in the industry. So I just started working as a assistant director. So the first roadblock you face is that if you don't know anyone in the industry, it's very hard and very tough to even get a job of assistant directors. Okay, because without any prior experience, so people say that you don't have experience, so how can we hire you? So obviously you start experiencing, you start getting experience by running around on the set, or doing production work, or doing any sort of work. So yeah, so getting a job as an assistant director was the first roadblock. The other one was, financially it is very tough, to sustain yourself and keep getting job, and try to work around, things in your own way. Personally saying, because I am not from a film school, and I I just started working. So there were a lot of roadblocks, because obviously the finances was, taking care of the finances was one thing. Taking care of the kind of work I wanted to do was another thing, because sometimes things are not in your hands. You are looking out for projects. You might get them, you might not get them. You are waiting, so you keep on waiting for work to come to you. One thing which I'll say for aspiring filmmakers or script writers, or technical field, if you want to go to any technical, join any technical field, is to have patience. you know so whatever roadblock you will face in life, I'll say that it's a it's a only a one word thing which should be there in all of your mind, which is to have patience. You know, to have a strong sense of belief in yourself. You know, if you have set out to do, be it any field, be it films, or be it corporate world, or be it any field. Just have patience and just have belief in yourself, and all the roadblocks will be like cleared. It's not that life is full of roadblocks. It can't be like the roads are not blocked now. Okay, fine. So you can no. Things will keep coming back to you in terms of bad days, bad projects, bad times. So just have patience and have belief in yourself, and all the roadblocks will be cleared. So, but there are a lot of roadblocks. Huh? Let me tell you, there are a lot of there are a lot of roadblocks in while trying to get into film industry, and even while working, there are a lot of roadblocks. So. So yeah, just come and just start working. Just have patience and just have a lot of self belief in, and you have to be honest with yourself. This is also one thing. More than roadblock, I'll say that if you have these things, because these things I'm saying out of experience. Because I have fallen, while I was, I'm still on my journey. I have fallen a lot of times. I have faced a lot of issues, a lot of problems, professional, personal, uh, so three things is just have patience, just have believe in yourself, and just have an honest approach towards yourself. Whatever you want to do, analyze yourself honestly. Just see that if you can do that or not. you know I'm not saying don't have faith in yourself or your abilities, but just have a honest take on whatever you are wanting to do in your life. So as long as you guys are honest with yourself, you know roadblocks will be gone. Will come, but then you will be taken care of, so not a problem. So yes.
Thank you, sir. Very much appreciated.
Thank you. Welcome.
Anyone else with a question, students?
Sir,
Yeah, hi.
Insha, we can go.
okay, am I audible?
Yes, you are very much.
Uh, Sir Sasham, you touched the point that I wanted to ask, but I will. Shall I proceed again?
Please,
Okay,
please.
thank you.
Yeah,
Uh,
please.
As a kid, we grew up watching a lot of Bollywood movies, say Kal Ho Na Ho, Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum, or Om Shanti Om, with all those beautiful dance songs and various ceremonies like Shadi and Rasam. However, there has been a gradual transition in the representation of Indian films through the year. So, according to you, what might be the reason behind the changes in the modern form cinema?
Okay. So there, so basically, see, you used a very right word called, and that was changes in the, modern cinema, right? So
Yes,
basic, yeah. So see, so understand where these changes are coming from. We as people change throughout in our life. How you were like 10 years before, you're not like that. Like your basic personality will be like that, but you have changed as a person. Okay, so people change, society change, country change, you know and it's a gradual process. Nothing is static. It's a very basic thing, right? You must be knowing about it. Nothing is static. So change is inevitable. So obviously, when we are talking about change in people, we are talking about change in society. We are talking about change in aspirations, in dreams, and their victories and struggles and everything. Obviously, we'll see a change in the way cinema is getting made. So, like the kind of films which you are talking about defines a certain aspect of times people were living in that point of time, because those were their aspirations, those were their dreams. Now the dreams have changed. Are you getting my point? Now the dreams have changed. Their aspirations have changed. Like when I was a kid, my aspiration was, to very small thing I'm saying. My aspiration was, to keep on riding bicycle, you know, because I wanted to ride bicycle. I wanted to like keep riding it, throughout the day. Like it was so dear to me that I made my parents buy a bicycle. Okay, so that was at that point of time. Now I don't want, like, I don't feel like. So I've changed in a very small way, and it's a very non-relatable example with what I'm saying. But what I'm trying to say is that if I wanted to wear, or if I had aspirations of having a certain kind of cloth 10 years before, or in my school days, I have lost that interest. I don't want those kind of clothes, you know to be putting in on my body. So I have changed as a person, right? Because the same thing which I wanted, I don't want it right now. So understand, a person like me, and then there are a lot of people around me, and then a lot of people in the society, they would want. So there was also a fashion trend, there was also trend in various aspects of our life, and those trend keeps changing. When those trend keep changing, the storytellers keep adjusting to the trends which is very much prevalent in the society in those times. Are you understanding my point? So, like, basically, 10 years back, a film like Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum would get made. It was all about, and those times it was all about marriage, and marriage. Jo generally Hindi film is, mostly about marriage only. So that's a different thing. But the way people would get married at that point of time, and the way people are getting married at this point of time has completely changed. So yeah, so because of change, cinema is also changing, because we are also into more of realistic cinema. Like films like, I will just say some. I'll just use some examples. I am sure you guys must have seen those films. Like these days, masala films are not getting made that much. So last masala film which you guys must have loved was Dabang. I don't know if you guys have seen it or not. It has action, it has romance, it has blockbuster music, it has a larger than life, image and story of, a person, played by a police inspector played by Salman Khan. These days, these kind of films are not getting made. After Dabang, just name one masala film which you really loved. Like there are a lot of masala films which are getting made. But somewhere down the line, if you are talking about films like Jolly LLB, which is also a very commercial film, but which talks about certain aspects of our society, and the blend is very beautiful, like the blend of a realistic scenario and the fiction, is blended very well. So there are a lot of examples, but I will say that because people are changing, the society is changing, and so does our cinema is changing. We are more interested in the real stuff these days. uh, so that is what the thing is.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, welcome.
Sir, I would also want to mention about how you said about change, and so with change, I think there's this trend of having short films and people only catering to short films, and filmmakers only producing short films. Does it have to do with our attention span, like? Because I feel like our attention span has also decreased immensely so over the years, so we only cater to short films and all of that. So is it do you think it's harmful for us, for the audience?
See, nothing is harmful for audience. uh, and actually, this is a very interesting question which you have asked. uh, you know why? Because see, short film started getting made for various reasons. It's not that only when the digital cameras came into the industry, because before that we would shoot on reels. Okay, so when I had started working, the first roadblock was I didn't know anything about what is happening on the set. I just went, I got the job, I started concentrating, and I just learned a lot of things, which I would never know because I started exploring myself. So, what I'm trying to say is that um, short films were made in those times also, but that they were made as showreels. Now also they're being made mostly as showreels. But when the digital filmmaking came into the forefront, into the fore of our country, of our industry, in our industry, then what happened was filmmaking, you know, was getting explored because of the digital revolution which came when the camera came in the phone on the in your phones. When the camera when digital camera came, there were a lot of options for people to choose from. People would get good results, great results, and the filmmaking got cheaper. So that was one point when the short film was getting made, started getting made, because a lot of people who would not get money to make a short film, because understand this thing, filmmaking is still a very, very, very expensive uh, you know uh, thing. It's an expensive art. I would say filmmaking is not cheap. Still, with the digital camera, you have to arrange for a lot of things. It's money. A cost goes into making certain kind of cinema. So but relatively, the cost of making a short film was too less, and people had a lot of ideas. They always wanted to explore. So when people got this power in their hand, they said that, okay, fine, so let's make short film. I'll make a short film. I'm not getting enough money to make a feature film, so I'll make a short film. And they would arrange for things, they would do jugaads and all that, and they started making short film. So this is the first part of your question, that how short film started getting made. It was not because of the attention time. It was because that people got an option, to showcase their creativity, to tell the kind of stories they would want to. Short film existed before also, but then also making a short film would cost a lot more, because you had to get those reels, those reel cameras. Okay. And film camera, and the whole process is very expensive. It adds onto the whole budget of film. So this is one thing. The other thing which you said is very, very, very important and very relatable also. But I would say the attention span of people is getting decreased. But that's a different topic. I would not get into that because that will take more of our time. Uh, because people are getting, see, audience, whatever you feed your audience with, you know, they're going to, they don't have any option other than whatever is getting fed to them, right? So if I am feeding you with mythological movies, you will keep on watching mythological movies only. If you have options of lots of short films to watch, you will go and watch short films. It is not because the attention span is less. It is because what you are having on your plate as options. So there are a lot of short films, there are a lot of series to choose from, there are a lot of cinema, 2 hours, 1 hour to choose from. So basically people watch all these three formats. So it's not that the attention span is less. People are watching 2.5 hour movie as well. People are watching 10 hours web series as well. But what you said is also right to an extent, but not in this context. What you said is right to an extent, because attention span of the whole youth is going down because of the mobile phone. Everyone everyone has so much of option. They are always on the phone. They are not like feeling the emotions. They are just bombarded with so much of information through internet, which is corrupting our mind. We have to be very, very, very conscious of this thing, of not letting our mind always occupied by our mobile phones. People are on Instagram, people are on Twitter, people are on WhatsApp, like all the time. If you're not studying, if you're not doing anything, you are on phone constantly. So this is what this is doing, is because when you are fed with so much of information, your mind hovers around that. Let me just look at this also. Let me just find out this, or let me just do this. Or so this pattern, what it does is it genuinely it squeezes your attention, span, and so yeah, so this is a different topic, this is a different issue which is coming up, so you should be very much beware of it. I am also including myself into it because I know how much time it goes, but then my work also happens on phone or through phone only, so that's a different thing. But try and detach yourself from your phone until unless it is very necessary. Do that, for your own good. Read books, go out, meet people, travel as much as you can. Just take stuff from your surroundings, just meet people and observe them and understand, what they are going through. I am not like I'm sharing my own thing, whatever I have gone through, how I have managed to, to chalk out stories. So yeah, so and you guys are literature students. You guys will have a lot of options in your hand as far as stories are concerned. But yeah, but what you said is right to an extent, but not entirely, because short films are getting made because now people have the power of digital camera, and people can shoot it from anywhere. You can make film while sitting at your home also, so through your mobile phone camera and edit it in your mobile phone. So this is such a powerful tool. Anyone can make films. So yeah.
Yes, sir. I think your point of view is also true from, as a filmmaker, how it is a tool. But then again, for us as a, when we use mobile phones, and we can have the disadvantages of it, and it can be harmful. So that's also true. We should remember that, I think. If anybody else, students, do you have any more?
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are very much.
Okay. This, my name is Madino, and I'm from English department from St. John College. It's not like I'm not. I just want some advice, since like for the youth like us, just want to ask that for the youth like us who wants to choose the career for the film industry, what's the best advice you could give us in this present situation? Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So if you want to join the film industry in the present situation, I will say that you know just start finding out, first just find out that what you actually want to do, which department in the film industry you want to join. You want to be an actor, you want to be a, because the approach in all these career choices, will be different. Okay, so for example, if you want to be an actor, so you need to start working on yourself. Okay, start working on yourself means just try and have a free hand, um, free hand as far as the language is concerned. You should be able to speak it fluently. Start reading plays, start reading stories. Start working on yourself in terms of your voice projections, your voice and your own appearance, and a lot of things. you know because you need to start give auditions to crack as an actor. Okay, if you want to be a writer, then obviously you have to start writing your own stories. You have to understand the technical aspects of writing a screenplay, so you need to start doing research. You can start doing research sitting at your home over there through internet. There's a lot of information on internet. Take out time, 2 2 hours, just go to the internet and just read about it. If you want to be a camera person, just start looking for institutions where you would want to join, where you would want to learn the technical aspects of it. Because now camera person has to be technically sound, and you need to read about it. You need to go to film school. Or else, if you don't want to go to film school, then you need to start from scratch by assisting someone, on the set. You can learn there also. There is nothing wrong. You don't need to go to film school for each and everything. You can also go and start learning from the set. So that's why I'm saying first decide which department you want to join. There's costume department, there's art department, which preps and sets up uh, the background, like I have a background of a mirror, and Inakali has a background of a plant, so art department does these kind of things. They just fill the frame. They just look at make authentic, in that sense. So yeah, so first decide what you want to do, and when you decide what you want to do, just start your process now only. Because see, right now there's lot of uncertainty, going around as far as film industry is concerned. So coming to Bombay and starting to look out for work will not be a great idea until unless this Corona time is gone. Because of this Corona time only we are doing this webinar, right? Otherwise, it would have been lovely to have a interactive session in person. Okay, so that's why I'm saying. So because these times are tough and there's a lot of uncertainty around, so just start your process from your home only. There's a lot of material you will find on internet. So that is one thing. But I would want to know that which department would you want to join so that things can be specific.
Acting.
Acting,
Acting.
yeah, yeah.
Yes,
So
sir.
see, so that's why I said, I started off with acting. So I said
Okay.
that,
Okay.
yeah. So start working on yourself. Start
Okay.
working. Start reading. Which, if you want to join Hindi film industry, then obviously you have to work on the language and the accent and the pronunciation and a lot of things in your own way. Start
Okay, sir.
reading aloud. Start working on your voice. Start reading plays and start rehearsing those paragraphs of those plays in front of mirror.
Okay,
Just
sir.
stand in front of mirror and just give auditions of small scenes from your, so that and people are giving auditions, and there are a lot of casting agencies these days. So find out about casting agencies, approach them through online. What are the best 4 5 casting agencies, and people are taking auditions from home only. So you don't need to come to Bombay for acting. What you can do is you can record your audition and you can send it from there only through your mobile phone. It's as simple as that. Okay, nobody is going for auditions nowadays. Everyone is
Okay,
giving
sir.
audition online. So you can start doing that, and when they select you, they'll call you for the shoot, and you go and shoot, and then you again come back to your college. But you need to take permission from your HOD. So for
Yes,
that,
yes.
if you've got any role, and so then Inakali has to give you permission, because your attendance will get short. So that I am not getting into. That you have to take care of. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank
Now
you,
that
sir, so
your
much.
Yeah, now that your HOD has got has known about this, knows about this, so it might be an issue for you now. If you get, and if you lie to your HOD that, madam, I was not ill, I was this, I was that, that is not going to work now. So yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Really appreciate it.
Welcome. Anyone else?
Hello, sir.
Hello,
Hello.
sir.
Hi, hi.
Hi, hi.
Hello.
Hello, sir. My name is Tongbang Hukla, and I'm from St. John College English Department. So, I would like to ask one question, and that is, can you please describe about a time when you made a mistake and how you rectified it?
I made a mistake about what? Anything.
I mean, like we all make mistakes in life, so maybe in film career or anything, like the mistakes that you made and how you rectified it.
So first thing is that you need to identify honestly with your mistake. You need to identify that, the very fact that if you have made a mistake or not. Okay, because a lot of people make mistakes and they don't realize it. till things get bad, you know, because they think that because things are not getting bad, I'm not making mistakes. But people can make mistakes even when things are not getting out of their hand or things are not getting bad around themselves, right? So you need to be very, very honest about yourself that if whatever you have decided to do in your life, if you're making mistakes or not. Like, for example, there were a lot of times when I didn't know that, if I have made a mistake or not. It was like unknowingly I would make mistakes and I would get to know about it later in my life. And uh, the thing that when you realize that you have made a mistake, you need to be honest with yourself. You know, just be honest with yourself and try and rectify it as soon as possible. It's a very subjective thing because obviously, like examples, would give you much clearer idea about the kind of mistakes and the kind of. But what I'm saying is just be honest with yourself and try and rectify your mistakes as soon as possible. Because the moment you rectify your mistake, you will be moving forward in your life. If you're not, if you don't rectify your mistakes, you will be stuck there only, and you will keep repeating the same mistakes. So that's why it is very important to identify your mistakes, because then you won't end up repeating it again and again. You're getting my point? So I've made a lot of mistakes. I've made a lot of professional mistakes, and I've had to like go through the repercussions of those mistakes which I made in my life professionally, and I rectified it because next time when the same scenario came, I would not do the same things. So I've developed a lot of patience. I have let go of my impatient vibes or times, and this is what you know life teaches you. So just make mistakes. That's okay. That's fine. Everyone makes mistake, but then try and rectify it as soon as you identify your mistake. So this is the simple thing.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
I think
I think.
Akatulia, you can go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are. Please go ahead.
Yeah, you are. Please go ahead. So, hello, Sir Shashan. First of all, congratulations to you on your first film. My name is Akatoli Asmi from the Department of English, St. John College. I wanted to ask, what made you pursue filmmaking? Like, were you influenced by something in your past? And what is the best possible way to promote film when we are on a tight budget?
Okay. So very interesting question. So basically, the first thing is that from my school days only, I have been a dreamer. I would dream about a lot of things, and I was very much uh, you know inclined towards films, towards songs, you know. Towards plays and all that. So I was always very much interested in curricular activities, and I more than anything, I think like there are a lot of people who you get inspired by. There are a lot of films, there are a lot of actors, there are a lot of singers you get inspired by. You want to do things like them. So I would not say one person inspired me. I'll say this is a culmination of a lot of things, you know. But more than that, I always wanted to be in the films, in the film industry. I always wanted to work in films since my school days, I think. And I was lucky enough to get an opportunity and support from my family that I got to Bombay and started working in films. And when I started working in films, and when I look back, I'll say that there was something which always, drived me. So after finishing my college, I just straight away came to Bombay and started working. So this is something which I always wanted to do, to be honest. First thing. The second thing is, that if you have a tight budget, the promotion of the film depends on a lot of things. If you are making a short film and if you have a tight budget, then obviously, thankfully, because of the internet, because of so many apps, because of so many social media platforms, you can make your PR plan, and you can work accordingly so that you reach a lot of people. So you reach a lot of people through organic, uh, you know organic organic PR uh, strategies, basically. So where you don't have to pay, because obviously, if you pay, then obviously you will reach more people. But if you have tight budget, then you can plan in a very smart way, so that, by taking help of friends, on your social media platforms, your followers, your, you know whoever they are, and ask for help, and they'll make it viral, and you will reach out to people. So if you are really tight on budget, just use smartness, is what I'm saying. Use smartly, just make plans and go out there to promote your film, is what I'll say.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, maybe we can take one more question, one last question, if you're not too
Yes,
tired.
yes, yes. Yeah. Yes, please, please, not a problem. And more than question, just you can also share your thoughts. I'm just saying.
I don't know. Hi, Shashank. I don't know if the students are done or not, but there seem to be a lot of questions coming in, so I just wanted to give the time to the students. But let me also just steal some time and quickly ask a question. Earlier in your talk, you were talking about the Indian cinema having stories from all over the country. So, do you think that the Indian cinema has somehow sidelined the stories from Northeast? Do you think?
Okay, so what I'll say is that, very interesting question you have asked. See, it's very simple. I'll say like this: it's not that Indian cinema is a government body, or it's not that Indian cinema is a pool, of 4 5 people who would represent all sort of, all parts of country. Understand that when a filmmaker comes and start making films, my first thing was that it takes stories from its surroundings, from the place where that filmmaker has grown up, from the place where that filmmaker belongs to. Okay? So, for example, people who came from Punjab, people who came after partition from Punjab, you know, before partition or after partition also, started making films which would depict their culture, their stories, because they grew up in that environment, right? So they would imagine and they would write stories and they would make films which would be relatable to them. You're getting my point? Now, this is first thing. The other thing is that one needs to have, like, for example, if I'm making a film, and if I have lived my life in, I've been born and brought up in Calcutta, so I grew up with that kind of an environment. Okay, so I will bring stories from Calcutta. Okay, my native place is in Bihar, so I would go to Bihar during my summer holidays, and I would, see the people, their the culture, the festivals, and all that. So my story will have sections, not sections. Actually, my story will be inspired from, that area. Okay, so having said that, there are a lot of stories which are based in Northeast. There are a lot of stories which have been shot in Northeast. There have been a lot of, there are actors from Northeast as well. There have been a lot of war films which, depict Northeast. There are a lot of, like, for example, there's this Devanand film, with Zeenat Aman, you know, and I'm just forgetting the name of the film, but it had, like, we go and we shoot in Northeast, we show their culture in our songs, we show the culture in our films also, we set up stories, in Northeast. We do that to get different flavors, in our stories. But when you are saying that film industry has sidelined Northeast, I would say no, it's not that. If someone from Northeast would come to become a filmmaker in Hindi film industry, obviously he or she will be bringing in the culture and the festivals and the people and the stories from Northeast. Are you getting my point? So so uh, like uh, it's not that the Indian film industry has sidelined. It has also got to do with people coming from Northeast and starting to make films in Hindi film industry, which is not a very tough thing. you know so it's just that, like for example, people from Punjab would make stories about Punjabi culture, Punjabi people. People from Bengal would bring in stories from Bengal. People from Bihar have started coming into make films. So they would, like for example, I'm just saying, Imtiaz Ali is from Bihar, but then he's making stories which are based in Punjab or in Punjabi culture. The characters are from Punjab, the characters are from, so I'm just saying based in Jammu Kashmir, or so I just stated that example because it's not necessary that whoever is coming from, whatever place has to make films. The commercial aspect also defines a lot of things. It also, gives you a, or maybe binds you, with the kind of story which you need to show. So people from Northeast has to come and start making films in Hindi film industry. Like regional films are doing well, you know, because I went to Arunachal Pradesh. So my film was getting screened there as an opening film. So I went to Arunachal Pradesh Film Festival, and this I'm talking about 2019. So people really loved the film, you know and they wanted, and I had a this kind of discussion I had in person with in that film festival. And it was really great to know that a lot of people from Arunachal wanted to come to industry and start making films. You know what I mean? So it's not that film industry is controlled by 4 5 people or a section of people, or is a government organization. It's an independent industry, and this industry is made by people like us, like me, like you. You can be part of this beautiful secular industry where any kind of people, be it from northeast, be it from north, south, can come and work. you know I would not say that people from Northeast, have been sidelined. It's just that the people from other parts of the country came in much before, and they started making films from their own, states, of their own states, stories about their own states and their culture and all that. So it's just that.
Yes,
So please,
like
so
you
I'm saying
said,
that,
most of the
people from Northeast.
filmmakers. So, like you said, most of the filmmakers they choose to produce movies about their own cultural background, the culture that they have grown up in. But do you? I also feel that they should come out of that comfort zone and explore a wider world. I feel that. So I was just sharing my opinion on that. And
Yeah, you are right. You are absolutely right. They should come out of that comfort zone, and make films about other parts of country also. And I am sure that people will be doing that, but also understand one thing,
And
because
I also wanted to ask you, what about you personally? Do you have, in the future, do you want to take up any such projects where you want to experiment with a different culture,
oh
stories
yes,
from a different cultural background?
yes, absolutely. Because there is this friend of mine from Arunachal Pradesh. We would work together, and he's in Arunachal Pradesh, Bombilla, and he was an editor, okay, and he was an editor, and now he's living there only. And so he had asked me, to make a film, a regional film, of his state, and to direct it. Obviously, the story would be his, and I have been in talks with him, and I said I would love to come and shoot, because obviously that's a real interesting thing, because I will be getting to
So,
know about. Yeah.
So in those kind of movies, if you happen to produce any such film, then what about the actors? Will they be from
From there only.
Northeast or
Yes. 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 They'll be from Northeast
that's
only.
very good.
Yeah, they'll be from there only.
Thank
And
you.
yeah,
Okay, I'll hand it over to Miss Temjintula. I think we've had enough discussion, so you can
yeah.
cover the.
Thank you very much, Inakali, for asking this very important question. And I'm being very honest about it because that friend of mine invited me, and we are having discussions on it. And he's trying to get someone to put in money, and he said that because obviously if I'm making a film of a certain part of India, so I'll have to include the cultural aspect, the youth and the people from there, and actually I've been so I have watched a lot of Arunachal Pradesh films. I was a judge for a film festival, and it was a regional film, all masala regional films. So I had to kind of choose the best film, the best actor and actress, and it was great to see that people from Arunachal Pradesh acted, directed and produced those films, you know and this was about last year. So yeah, so I would love to do that. But yeah, so sorry, M. Chandula, you can carry on. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir, for the interactive session. It's very interesting. I think all of us thoroughly enjoyed it. All the students have learned so much, more than they have hoped for, especially with filmmaking and the industry itself. So I would like to now
Yes, I
invite
have
our,
one question.
uh,
If it's okay.
I would like to now invite our administrative head, Sir Peter Banks, to give a vote of thanks.
Wait,
Sir Peter?
Akishe wants to ask something. I think
no, I think someone was saying that she has to say something or ask something, I think. One
okay.
student,
Nikki V.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
Nikki.
I have one question.
Oh, okay.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
My name is Nikki V, and I'm also from the Department of English from St. John College. So there's one question which I want to know about, and I'm actually desperate about, like the issue of piracy. The issue of piracy. So these days, piracy, I believe, has become a worldwide issue. Like be it Bollywood or Hollywood, any movies like we can get early access through websites or other forms or other platforms. So like, how do the filmmakers or the producers keep up with this issue? Like, is there any alternative to this issue or like?
See, this piracy is a very huge problem because people, so basically these guys who are technically so sound, they find some sort of, glitch in the whole technical system, and they just, take the film from the internet also, and then they start sending it across. So it's a issue. It's something which the government has to deal with, because obviously the film industry has faced a lot of losses because of this. We make films because it's a costly affair. It's a costly form of art. So the money which is being put in has to be recovered well enough, so that different more films are being made out of the money which is being recovered. So it's a huge issue. It's a huge problem, but government has to deal with it. We can only request the government to just sort these things out, because it's a real problem for us.
Thank you,
So
sir.
yeah, thank you.
Okay, we can close the discussion round now, and we can proceed with a vote of thanks from Sir Peter, our administrative head. Sir, if you can take the time now.
Yeah, sure. You can hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. So Shashank, thank you so much for your time and the discussion that's going on. I feel like I have questions that I could ask myself, but we have gone on for some time already, and
No, that's okay. I am fine. You can ask your question. Not a problem. Please go ahead.
Wow.
I have. Yeah. Please.
I was thinking when you were talking about the progression of things becoming modern, or the change of cinema over time. You were talking about how modern stories are being told, and my experience of cinema is somewhat different, having grown up in the UK. So I was interested to get your take. We're seeing now with streaming platforms and other distribution models that this kind of modern storytelling is really finding a foothold in India. And at the same time, we're also seeing a kind of rise, or certainly if you observe social media, there's a rise of certain groups that would like to shut down certain stories or not want certain things to be said or distributed. I was thinking myself, I grew up in a family where we're fond of things like Monty Python and like the old movies that when they came out in the UK were also deeply controversial among certain traditional people, particularly along religious lines. So I was just interested to get your take as somebody who's working in the industry on this kind of conflict between a modernist storytelling, the real storytelling, and the desire to tell stories that are controversial, and the conflict of that with the kind of traditional Indian family mindset, or the wholesome view that used to be portrayed in cinema.
Yeah. So very interesting this is. So I'll say, see, what happens is that the conflict, as far as the stories are concerned, the conflict will always be there. It's something which existed in the past as well. So there will be a lot of examples when when I'll be saying that the kind of stories which would say certain things or had certain takes about the cultural or traditional aspects of the country or of the people, or certain amount of people. And if you are saying a story about them, there would be conflict, maybe a conflict from some organization, conflict with the government. If you're making a social political story, a realistic drama, there'll be conflicts. There'll be conflicts around stories, which is going to exist even in the times to come. It is something which is never going to fade away from our lives, But as a filmmaker, one should be aware of the fact that whatever controversial subject the filmmaker is taking upon, to tell the story to people, he should be aware of certain things, of not taking people for granted first, not taking see, because when I'm talking about India is a very vast country. India has got a lot of other cultural cultural aspects within the country, like cultures, like traditions, like different kind of religions and all sort of things. So even if you are not trying to hurt someone, people get hurt, but then there is also a thing that people understand that one is not intentional, or in their style of trying to say stories. But of lately, what is happening is that when a certain kind of people come into power, they would want to control certain things. It's very simple. When the government changes, when different sort of people come, they would want to control the whole narrative. They would want to control a lot of things, and that is where the fight comes. The filmmaker has to be brave enough. I will say that if you really believe in certain kind of stories or the narrative, just go all out and just say it. But just be aware of the fact that you are not pointing out the wrong things, or you are not trying to build up a false narrative around that story. One has to be honest. One has to be brutally honest. You can say anything you want to, but you can't be irresponsible to be saying anything which doesn't hold a base in that sense, doesn't have a grounding. So conflicts are always going to be there. As filmmakers, we have to be brave enough to say that, okay, fine, I'm ready for the conflict, but this is what my story is, this is what my take about this narrative is, so I am going to say my things. It's as simple as that. Let the conflict happen. This is like cinema is all about conflicts, right? You go and watch the cinema, you like it, you don't like it, you stay with the story in your head, there are conflicts in your mind. So yeah, so basically, this is what I feel, this is what I think, that the filmmaker should be brave enough, to be saying what they want.
Okay. So again, thank you for your time. Thank you, Mamin Akali and Tim Chantula and the English department for arranging this seminar today. Thank you to all of the students who asked questions and made the discussion as exciting and interesting as it was. Without interesting questions, we cannot hear interesting answers. So thank you for that, everyone. I have made a few notes myself. I think I have some homework to do in terms of some movies to catch up on. So I can expand my horizons with your advice given today. I hope that all the students, you're feeling that you are more confident, or you are well advised now to take up your career, or to take up your dream, to pursue your passion. I thank Sir Shashank for drawing attention to the fact that the headline star is not the only person in the movie industry, and that there are countless others working on sets, in art, in costume, in so many things going on behind the scenes that are vital to producing a good movie. So if you have a talent for design, or if you have whatever your talent is, if you're interested, you think about how you apply that to the movie industry, and you pursue that. So thank you for your time, and I must wrap up. So
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everyone. It was pleasure talking to all of you, and it was really nice, having a conversational, session with you all. Thank you for inviting me and for having me here on your webinar. Thanks a lot.